Welcome, listeners, to this week's episode of Unexplained Legends. I'm Roger O'Sullivan, and with me, as always, is
Denis Copon-Taylor.
and together we are the Unexplained Legends. I just realised this is being recorded, Dennis, and people will obviously see me scrambling for my phone.
Why are you reading a few text messages?
No, I wasn't actually. I was just checking the time.
What's the last text message you got on your phone?
No, can't go into that.
Oh, well, like you didn't actually have to read out the real
one. It was very. Yeah, I have to read it.
We'll do it again. There, we'll start again.
Okay.
You just have to read out something really private.
Welcome, listeners, to this week's episode of Unexplained Legends. I'm Roger O'Sullivan, and with me, as always, is
Stablo Boss Len.
And together we are the Unexplained Legends. It's a good start, Dennis, because I stumbled over my own name, which I don't think I've ever done. I don't think I've ever done that in the podcast. I'm
in fairly good form now tonight, I have to say, but I will say the heat is coming back. Is it like that on your side of the planet?
Well, I went for a jog before this podcast, and it was what we in the business say was hotter. It was a road test. It was very hot, but I love overdressing in the heat for going jogging and then getting a good sweat on.
Yeah, and do you come home and do you like get into a hot shower then and just make it even worse?
What? Shower?
Okay, no shower. Okay,
no.
So you're just sitting there for a little.
Do you want to see my top from jogging?
Yeah. Okay, and for the people listening in the audio world, I will describe it.
Look at that.
It is what I would say is.
It's like a smiley face.
What is that?
That's the sweat from my chest.
Oh, it's the sweat from his chest. I actually thought that it was a logo.
No, it's ab sweat.
Yeah, it looks like whatever that guy's name is, a Rorschach test. It looks like a Roger Sweat test.
It does. So you can tell, I'm giving it my all.
Are you going to bang that straight in the wash now?
No, I'd say we'll dry out.
Yeah, wear it again.
Yeah, why not? Yesterday's sweat.
When you were younger, did you ever actually like wash stuff for school or for training, or did you just inevitably look in the bag and go, "Oh shit"?
I'd say there's a lot of things when I was growing up where I was very self-starting. I was very mature. I did a lot of my own cooking, right? But I would say washing my clothes was something that I didn't really take to when I was younger.
Yeah, you left to the big guns.
It wasn't for me. Do you know what? It was nice for mother to have something to do.
To be honest, right? I know how this sounds. I've done my washing for a long time. I'm only getting the hang of it now.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to say, I've seen you put on what I can only describe as impressive loads.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what people do say about me. Impressive loads.
Impressive loads. You like you see it as a challenge. That thing has to be fucking full.
I'll tell you, there's one man who could beat me in that World Cup of washing machines, right? And it's a lad we both know. He came up on the podcast a couple of weeks ago about a man who hadn't worn shoes in 2 years and cut his feet when he went on holidays, right? That's a real sentence. But I'm telling you, that lad, he'd pack it full, and not only that, he'd put it on for a dry then for 2 hours afterwards. And you'd come home and you'd smell clothes burning.
Oh my god! I think we've been through this before, but if you open up a washing machine, they're not very high tech.
No, they're not. Just a barrel
and a cement block.
We had a washing machine before in an apartment he used to live in back in Ireland with the same guy.
Yeah. Oh, really? Was it?
We had two things going on. One, we had a thing we called the bird, right? No, I don't think anyone should do this, right? Right, do not do this. But the bird, when a fire alarm goes off.
Oh no! I know exactly what this is.
When it's running out of battery, it just emits this little chirp, like quite frequently. But I will say that you can get used to it and almost train it out of your head if you leave it there for long enough. But like guests would call over and they come in and go like, "Lads, what the hell is that?" And then we'd laugh and say, "Oh, that's our bird." which is a terrible thing. But the other thing was the washing machine, just going along with our maintenance things that we just never got fixed. The washing machine at one point, right, sounded like an Apache helicopter inside in our kitchen. Like it was unbelievable. It was like boop, 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 boop. It was so loud. Right?
I know what's happened.
Unbelievably loud, right? And then one day, because we'd have headphones on, so we wouldn't really care. Like, but I mean, it was terrible for our neighbors. One day, the thing like sounded like the washing machine had left the building. Like it went out the door. The barrel sheared off inside of the washing machine because we were putting so much clothes into it, and so it was just a barrel flying around inside it. But the guy came over to fix it. But we said we think there's something wrong with the washing machine. and he opens it up and the whole thing just fucking falls out. And he's like, "You think there's something wrong with the washing machine, do you, boys?"
Oh my god! The same guy, remarkably, managed to do something similar to his own car, if I remember correctly.
He did, yeah. He took he was driving along one day. I mean, we should really get this lad on and just talk to him for a bit.
Yeah,
even though he'd deny all the stories.
He's an unexplained legend.
He is. He was driving along one day and he heard unmerciful scraping on the ground right outside, and he was looking around to see what it was. Thought it was a different car, even though it was coming from underneath his car. And he got out, and the entire exhaust, like the catalytic converter, all the way up to where it goes into the engine, hung off and fell off in the middle of like Cork gridlock traffic, and he had to drive. When you don't have an exhaust in a car, right? It is the loudest. It's the loudest fucking thing in the world. He had to drive into a mechanic at like 5 o'clock on a Friday when they're all leaving and like beg them to put the exhaust back on the car.
Jesus Christ.
Gas man.
Well,
anyway,
Denis,
Raj, what are we doing this week?
Well, on the back of that, Denis, you mentioned sounds, right? Mm-hmm. You mentioned sounds. You mentioned noises.
I did.
Well, how about music?
Oh, very good. Okay,
yeah,
music.
Yeah. See?
Let me think. Can I guess?
Okay, go on.
We're going to do the brown note.
No, but
okay.
What threw me there is we actually are talking about somebody called Brown.
Okay, all right. You must have been thinking. Brown. You must have been thinking, "Oh, is he after getting this?"
Yeah, I was like, if this is more common than I think it is, if this is more known, I'll be fucking furious. We're doing, Denis, a very interesting case of somebody who, get this, right? They were composing music from beyond the grave.
So they were dead?
No. They were getting music from beyond the grave.
Okay. All right. So there was a ghost or something giving them what I assume is some sort of tips, some notes, and they were making the music.
Yeah. A very, very famous ghost. In fact, actually, a number of famous ghosts. Actually, do you know what? I think there's a chance, just thinking about this now, these might be some of the most famous ghosts we've ever featured on the podcast.
Was one of them, did one of them star as a dog in a movie in the 90s?
Yeah, maybe. Perhaps.
Yeah,
perhaps.
I think so.
Perhaps. But Denis, we're doing something called we're doing something by a woman called Rosemary Brown, and what's referred to as her musical seances.
All right. Okay. Well, without further ado,
on fire?
It has set me on fire. I'm very interested to see what this is.
You're ready to go? Well, in that case, Denis, we'll crack on with the lamestream narrative. Born in 1811 in Dobrujan, in the Kingdom of Hungary, Franz Liszt would grow up to be one of the most influential and respected composers of the Romantic period, known for his virtuoso piano playing, as well as his constant evolution and experimentation across his hundreds of compositions. He worked tirelessly until his death, and perhaps, as some claim, even worked tirelessly after it, as supposedly one Rosemary Isabel Brown became his apprentice in the afterlife.
All right, so let me get this straight, right? This guy from somewhere that we definitely both can't pronounce, right?
Whoa.
What?
What? There's nothing wrong with my pronunciation of Dobrian.
I'm just saying, you just don't make it easy for yourself at the start. I would have put that a couple of words in, give yourself a little bit of a go. But you're saying this guy is a legitimate musician, world renowned. You know him.
Are you honestly telling me you've never heard of Liszt?
Never in my life.
Are you shitting me?
No, I know you love demonstrating your knowledge, right? And
No,
that, right?
not my knowledge.
We can say this 3, 4, 5
general
more times
knowledge.
if you want.
General knowledge.
But I just want to clarify that this is a legitimate guy, yeah?
Yeah. Listen,
okay.
do yourself a favor just now. Google Franz Liszt.
What's your favorite song?
By him.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't really name a song.
Oh, okay. But he's very good, though, isn't he?
Well, he's famous.
Yeah, I know. I get he's famous. I was just clarifying it for people who don't know him. Not everyone is going to be listening to him.
He's not Elvis, Dennis. I'm not gonna say like, oh, ain't nothing but a hound dog. He's not like that, right? He's like a composer.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, some concerto probably.
Okay, yeah, concerto number 4 or something, perhaps.
Yeah, probably.
All right, okay, yeah, he comes up here, very, very, very famous. It says very next to his name there. Says,
I can't believe you've never heard of Liszt.
Have you? When did you first come across him?
No, genuinely, I've known about Liszt since I was a wee lad.
Did you get in early, like?
I'd say I got in fairly early.
What age do you think?
If I'm being totally honest, probably 14, 15 in music class.
Oh yeah. That's where you get it. That's where you get it.
Yeah, but a lot of people apparently, I'm learning now, don't even know Liszt. They don't know the old hits.
Self-discovered in music class. Okay, cool.
That's very surprising. You've never heard of Liszt. I'm not trying to make you feel.
I don't feel like that. I'm sure.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad.
Are you trying to make me feel bad? Though?
No, I'm not. I just said I'm not.
Are you trying to make yourself feel superior a little way?
No, I'm not. I'm not. Honestly, it was sheer, genuine, honest to God shock. We've done whatever 60 something episodes, mostly about aliens and ghosts. This is the first time I've been shocked.
This is it.
Yeah, I can't believe that. Yeah.
So this very genuine, very well known composer, right, of the Romantic period, right?
He's got Wiki up now.
I don't have it there. I just remembered your words. And so he was very famous, and he died. And then he said, "You know what? I'm not done yet."
Yeah.
He said, "Roger needs more music. I'm gonna bring it on to this Rosemary Brown person."
Yeah. So, not quite, but we'll find out. Right. Born into a modest family in London in 1916, Brown was not accustomed to the works of classical composers. Like yourself, I guess, actually, in this case.
Here, I could be next in line. Maybe someone will be visiting me. Franz Ferdinand will be giving me new tunes in the dead.
Okay, so just write da. Okay,
You're going too fast. You're going too fast.
Have you got that, Denis? I love that we've acted like it's not a band and it's Mr. Franz Ferdinand. Go on. Sorry.
No, I just always see the lead singer as the band.
Oh, yeah. That to be honest, that is true. Mr. Motley Crue.
Yeah, I don't know like Arctic Monkeys or any of those bands. Like, I just know that guy's haircut. That's it. I don't know.
Metallica.
I couldn't stab anyone else.
So Dennis, right? However, right, Miss Brown, like I said, she wasn't up with all these fancy classical composers now that you and I would
My
know
kind
about,
of woman.
right?
My kind of woman.
However, she had an amazing experience at the age of 7 when the spirit of a man appeared to her with long white hair and a flowing black Cossack. What are you laughing at?
It's better not be Santi.
No, Santa Claus. Oh, I hope you've been a good little girl. No. So the spirit of an old man, right? And he told her at the age of 7, he was a famous composer and he would make her a famous musician someday. Rosemary was shocked by this, but over time, given the lack of follow-through from her spiritual teacher, she put the experience out of her mind.
So he never came back. He basically visited her and said, "Here, I'm going to make you a star." Didn't come back.
Yeah, just disappeared. So
Did she start learning like to try and get ahead or anything? I'd be under serious pressure if a ghost came and said, "Here, I'll give you all my music." I'm like, "Lad, you need to give me a few years and some online classes because I'm fucked."
So that's kind of what happened, okay? Because years later, right, she happened upon a picture in a book of one Franz Liszt. You wouldn't recognize him, obviously, and
I would know.
she immediately like saw the picture and went, "That's the man. That's the spirit that I encountered."
I will say for anyone who doesn't know who Franz Liszt is, he's a very recognizable face.
Mm.
I will give her that. Like you would definitely know it's him, and very recognizable hair as well.
He's one of these men as well who he was ghostly in life.
Yeah, he does. He looks, and you know what? He looks annoyed. He looks constantly pissed off.
Oh, you'd say so, yeah?
Well, I mean, judging by his frowny face, even though to be honest, in one of the pictures he actually looks quite
jovial,
quite happy. I wouldn't go jovial.
No,
nah,
no.
he looks a bit of a mess. But carry on.
So eventually, right, at the age of 15, Rosemary acquired a second-hand upright piano. This is kind of like what you were saying. And she began to take some lessons on the instrument. However, she was only of reasonable aptitude. Still no fame or contact came from her spectral teacher. So she's done a bit of homework, but he's still not turning up.
Who would you like to visit you to teach you some music?
This is 100%
If
true.
you fucking say Franz.
No, I couldn't give a damn if Liszt came to teach me. But this is true, right? Two things. Firstly, when I was a teenager, I had this overwhelming, like nearly fear that when I started learning guitar, that I was going to be visited by the ghost of Kurt Cobain.
Really? Why?
Because I didn't like Nirvana that much.
But why would he visit you? To say like, "Hey, why don't you listen to us?"
He'd visit me and he'd be like, I'm gonna give you my magical powers. And I'd have to pretend I was way more into Nirvana than I really was.
It's kind of like the paranormal experience of being called up on stage at a concert that you went to with a friend and you don't really know any of the lyrics.
Yeah.
And they ask you to sing.
Exactly, yeah. That's exactly, or it's like when when my mom, while she was out for a meal when we were much younger, I would have been like nearly a baby, I'd say, but
nearly a baby,
nearly there. She was pregnant. She happened upon the Coors eating in the same restaurant and went over and asked for autographs for my two sisters. Only to discover when she got home that my two sisters could not give a shit about the Coors.
Well, at least it was the Coors. Well, actually, was it?
Actually, do you know what? As I was telling that story, I thought it might not have even been the Coors.
Do you think she just got, like, as in, there's a couple of different things. One, it wasn't the Coors. She went over there, said it. They obviously signed it because they thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Or, number two, made up the whole thing and just got people to sign it.
That could have been possible. And then she was like, even more disappointed. I can tell you something that's 100% true, and it might blow your mind equally. Is that when I was a kid, my family, we went on holidays to Galway, and we pulled in. Why are you laughing?
No, you just said Galway as if it was like Atlantis.
Yeah. It was to us.
And we went to
Sneem. Did I tell you about when I once got a recommendation from Booking.com and it said, we've looked at, this is when I was booking a lot of places around Ireland to do gigs. It says, we've seen all of the places you're going to and we reckon you'd love Sneem. And it was like a statistical anomaly. No one has ever loved Sneem. But in Galway, right, we pull up. Both of my parents teetotal, don't drink or anything, so they're not accustomed to going to pubs and stuff like that, but they went into a pub so that we could get a meal, go into the pub, sit down, and are about to order food when somebody comes in and a band starts playing in the corner, and my parents go, oh no, we couldn't stand the music going on while we're eating, got up and left. Who the fuck do you think who do you think came in and performed? No
This is
word of a
really
lie. Who the fuck
This
do you think it was?
is a really stupid guess, but I'm going big.
Go on.
Metallica.
No, for fuck's sake, no. No, it was Sinead O'Connor.
Oh, okay.
Sinead O'Connor came in and just started performing in the corner of the pub, and my parents were like, "That's it, we're out." We didn't come. We didn't come for music.
To be honest, she would have been pretty like nice to listen to as well. It wouldn't even have been like, let's say, if it was like traditional music or something, that could be a little bit annoying. But if it was Sinead O'Connor, it'd probably be quite nice to have at your dinner, no?
Oh yeah, like there's a good chance that like they would have been on anyway, just on the radio.
My mother once was in town just doing her like shopping or whatever. Right, she spent like several hours in town every single
Denis!
day. And stop. And that's I'm going back into my childhood. But yeah, she'd be wandering around, and one day she came back and she goes, "There was an awful lot of commotion in town. I don't know who it was, but I went right up to him and I got an autograph for you." And she showed him a piece of paper, and it says Jack Charlton on it. Now, for anyone who doesn't know who that is, that's a legendary football player and manager of Ireland, who was just like a phenomenon in Ireland at one point, but my mother didn't even recognize him. But anyway, where the hell are we, right? So she's gone off doing a couple of music lessons.
Yeah.
She's playing an upright piano, right?
And she's no good, to be honest. She's
yeah,
fine.
She's not even using the demo on the Casio keyboard or anything. Yeah. She's going for it, but she's not great.
No, she's medium talent. Okay. Right. As I was writing this as well, actually, I did have a slight fear of what if she comes and visits me. Yeah, I wouldn't like that either, right? So eventually, right, like I said, she started to learn piano, and he's still no sign of him. That was until Denis, in 1964, Liszt finally reappeared to Rosemary. So this is what, like, almost 50 years later.
It's relatively recent though, and you know, like, because when you mentioned 1811 or whatever at the start, like, I mean, we're in the 60s now, so she could have a pretty good career ahead of herself.
Yeah, you know? That's true. She could be going head to head with the Beatles, right? So he finally reappeared to her, and he informed her that her time had come. He would begin to dictate pieces to her, which he had come up with in the afterlife, and Brown would transcribe them for him. So successful was this relationship, it seemed that Liszt would go on to recommend her to his other ghostly composer friends, as she would eventually end up transcribing posthumous compositions for over a dozen different composers, including Brahms, Bach, Mozart, and your friend of mine, Beethoven, to name just a few.
Best movie in the 90s.
Yeah.
So that's pretty great though, because a lot of the time they say, you know, oh, work for me, you'll get great exposure, you don't get paid, and it never really turns out. But in this case, it seems like it has turned out for her. She's got a lot of like beyond the grave work. Yeah,
he recommended her. He was like, listen, honest, I can't speak highly enough of her.
And so, do we know then, like, how these obviously very, very legitimate pieces of music that were transcribed, do we know how they like match up? Like, have you listened to, like, let's say a piece by Beethoven, a piece by Rosemary Brown or whatever?
Put a pin in that.
Yeah, okay.
Put a pin in that, okay?
So no.
No, put a pin. I said put a pin in that.
A pin in it.
Right. Rosemary, Denis, she claimed each composer had their own style of dictating. Right. Liszt, for example, he would control Rosemary's hands, actually, like, putting them down on the piano. Schubert would sing his compositions to her, and then she'd have to write them out from that. And Beethoven and Bach, they were pretty straightforward. They're just dictating notes. They're just like E minor, G flat, just...
Yeah, that's sound. That's way better that way, I think.
You think so, yeah?
The singing is much, much more difficult.
Oh, well, there probably is a bit of interpretation going on when he's singing to her, you know?
Yeah,
like she probably is putting a bit of her own flair into those.
Bit of a spin in it. Maybe she preferred that way, you know. Do you know what? Maybe as well. To be honest, if it was me, there is something to be said here of once you get the rest of the ghosts on board, maybe just don't credit them. Like, when did she start crediting them?
Immediately, day one.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, so do you think she was doing this, Joe, just as kind of like a little bit of a marketing ploy? Because it would sound better. Like, it's like, oh, these are my stuff, but also Beethoven from the grave gave it to me. I mean, that would pique my interest.
I don't see her doing that.
Yeah. Well, why don't you see her doing that? Why do you think it's more likely that it's a ghost giving her notes from beyond the grave and recommending them to his ghost friends?
Because you'll find out later in my research. But it would have been impossible for her to do this. To write these pieces.
She wasn't at any level close to it beforehand. That'd be actually quite interesting to see, like, if her previous song, versus her first release of the Ghost Boys.
But she never made any original compositions outside of the Ghosts. Yeah, because she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. It's as simple as that, Dennis.
But is there any skill involved in transcribing? Like,
there is a bit of skill. Yeah.
Yeah. Would she play it afterwards?
Yeah. Not up to speed.
Half speed.
Yeah. Like she's not gonna,
half speed.
Yeah, she's not going to be able to get it spot on, But she would, yeah.
She would.
Yeah.
And you're speaking from your research there, not just kind of just going along and just saying, yeah.
No, it's fully researched.
Okay, fully researched, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, I'm just wondering. I'm just trying to get a level of her musical skill, like, versus what you'd need to transcribe or play this stuff.
So you're claiming that she well, I'll tell you this, you wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah?
No, I definitely wouldn't be able to do it. But I'm just wondering then, would a ghost, like, is a ghost moving her hands when she's playing it afterwards?
No.
Okay, so she does have the skill then to play the music.
At probably not full speed, I said.
Okay, but what I'm just trying to get at, if she does have the skill to play the music, then there's a good chance that she can compose the music.
No, not really.
Okay, you know what? You have me there. Not really has really sank me.
No, because she can't go as fast as what they're actually composing. So she can't play the piece actually up to speed. Probably.
And that is something... Oh.
What?
Well, my line of questioning ends with the probably. All right, where are we?
Okay. Well, we're just at the point now where he has recommended her to a load of other guys. She's gotten a lot of referral work. Okay.
Yeah.
And she's dictating for some of the best of them. Dennis, eventually, these works come to the attention of the musical world. And remarkably, they did indeed give Rosemary the fame that Liszt claimed she would have. While many were understandably skeptical, like you, and saw Rosemary's works as nothing more than, and this is in quotation marks, charming tributes, there were those who had doubts about their doubts. Most notable...
Sorry?
What?
What does doubts about their doubts mean?
You've never heard that phrase?
No, not until now.
Doubts about their doubts.
So they have doubts
so
about her.
You obviously have some doubts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you're going to have doubts. A woman's just told you that she's composing for a ghost.
A woman's got nothing to do with it now.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. A person has just told you that sorry, Google has gone off. Google thinks I'm fucking talking to it. Fuck off, Google.
Fuck, that's not what you say to Google. So wait, you're saying you have doubts about this too as well then?
Well, like when I first found out about it, I had doubts before I researched it.
Okay, all right.
When I researched it.
Now you fully doubted your doubts.
Yes. My doubts. I have no faith in my doubts. Listen, I have no faith in my doubts right now.
Okay. I'm on board.
So, most notable, probably, Dennis, of these, isn't... Well, you're smiling away there again. Smiling away. A big grin on your face, as if...
You're used to language, most notably, probably. It's like you're saying probably out the side of your mouth.
I didn't mean to say probably there, right? I didn't. Most notable of these being Humphrey Searle, a Liszt expert who the composer, not like the
Tesco shopping thing, yeah.
A Liszt expert who once wrote about one of her pieces, right? And he wrote the following. Are you ready? Are you ready for it, Dennis?
Yeah.
Right. Take this in now. Really drink
Okay.
this in.
No, I will.
Right. It is certainly, they're talking about the piece now. The piece is certainly in keeping with Liszt's experimental style, being mostly written in single notes in each hand. It's highly chromatic, and one hand is written in 5/4 time against 3/2 in the other. The latter is not a thing that Liszt ever did, as far as I know. Hang on. But it is the sort of thing he might have done. He might have done. Yeah?
Yeah.
As I said, this is referencing him saying this previously. As I said in my broadcast, he mentioned this in the radio, right? Which was reproduced on the record sleeve without my knowledge. So this is of a record of this piece. Since then, Fiona and I, it actually goes off a bit. He's talking with his wife now. Since then,
we've split up. It's not going well.
Since then, Fiona and I have got to know Rosemary well and believe her to be perfectly genuine. Even if the pieces dictated to her, by dead composers are not masterpieces, although some of them are very nice works. She has had no technical training in composition and could not possibly produce pastiches like, say, those by Joseph Cooper in his TV program Face the Music. Now, some of that kind of gets lost out of context. Yeah. So what do you make of that? What do you make of that?
I would say, Raj, I don't know if you're getting a different reading from it, but I don't think it's the greatest endorsement. It's in keeping with his experimental style, which experimental style allows you to get away with everything. And also saying that her style and what was actually composed isn't really like that guy at all. But he basically then kind of said, but look, maybe if you had more time, he might have done it. But like, if he had more time, maybe he would have done a million things, you know. Maybe he would have been an S Club 7, like, I don't know.
This is probably S Club 6 now. This is probably the most shocked I've been by us diverging on a topic. I take that completely the opposite way. Maybe it's because I'm a musician.
But you came out the how many records have you sold? Right. So
hey!
you came out the Traps at the start, right?
Yeah.
And you basically kind of said that she wrote pieces that lived up to like Mozart or Beethoven, the dog from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
But now we're saying that they're like barely pastiches. Like they're just okay works. They're not masterpieces.
They're not masterpieces.
Yeah, but why would these guys whose like careers are now, you know, like they're masters of their work, why would they then say, you know what I need to do? I need to go back. I need to give this woman who can barely play piano some kind of, you know, B-sides and get those released as well.
Well,
just like if you're thinking about it, because the other thing to remember as well, right? And this is what I don't think you're contemplating is how does she know that they're actually legitimate? No, I'm saying they are ghosts.
Okay, yeah.
How does she know that they're actually them? What do they have a like an ID they can give her? Like what they can't? How do they prove it?
Okay, right. Keep a hold of that for the theories. Keep a hold of that for the theories. Okay. What I would say to you is, if you let me take you on a little walk here, right? You go to the gym, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to the gym. And let's say you're going to the gym a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're doing good times on the rowing machine, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always on that thing.
Yeah, and you're going for what's the thing called? The speedometer? No, the treadmill.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot on the treadmill, good times, putting up good times and that. You're lifting big weights, yeah? Let's say you stop going for a few months or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you start going again. Are you going to be hitting those highs of when you were going the whole time? Be honest.
No, you're not, right?
No, you're not.
And I totally get your point. But let's say
these lads, Denis.
But wait, no, I understand what you're saying. Right? But let's say they come back.
Yeah.
You come back after a time. you haven't been running that much. You do a lot of running, you were saying, right?
Yeah,
You do a lot of sweating and running. And you decide, you know what, I'm just back half an hour running. I'm going to enter a 10K race, see if I can win it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Like, why would they release music if they're rusty?
Denis.
Like, surely they can get a piano or something going behind. Like, they don't. To be honest, these guys don't even need pianos. They can just do it in their heads.
Denis, some of these lads, they've been out of the game for 100 years. They're gonna need a few flops before they get their fucking rhythm back.
When was the last time you went to the gym? 1812.
Yes, you're not going to be able to put out the hits. So you only have a finite amount of time to get this woman to dictate stuff for you. So you'll make do, yeah?
So you're just saying that they're out of practice?
Well, how many living artists do we know that go completely off the ball as they get older?
Yeah, but that's different. Like, they're not. Their careers span decades. They've got their stuff done, and then they do some shit at the end.
That's what these lads are doing.
That's
they never got a chance to do their shit.
Half of these guys probably died penniless. I'm just saying,
no.
Like, why would they do it? Why would they release substandard music for guys who are obviously perfectionists? Makes no sense. Like, if you can give me a reason why they would do it. Like, let's say they know it's substandard. Why would they do it when they're rusty?
Because they wanted to get it out there. They don't think it's rusty. They think...
Okay, so what you're saying is they're surrounded by yes men.
Yeah. They're in heaven, Denis.
So they're saying, this is the best you've ever got.
There's very few people up in heaven giving you a reality check. You're humming stuff to them. Schubert or whatever is humming away some stuff. Jesus is up there going, geez, I'd say that's one of your best. He goes,
do you think Jesus is time to hang around with them?
Yeah, he's just walking by. He goes, like a team leader in the office or something. He's like walking by and he goes, geez, I'd say that's one of your best now. Schubert, he's like, I gotta get down there. I gotta get this.
You're basically saying that, like, heaven is like some sort of American imaginary suburbia. Yeah. People are out just working on their music. Jesus is walking by. And no, this is your theory. Jesus is walking by. And people are just being really friendly in heaven.
Yeah.
And it's giving them a big head because they're not really as good as they used to be.
Yeah.
Do you know Even though in heaven, I assume that they would probably be at their absolute prime because that's where they'd be happiest.
No. It's not. The standards are lower. That's why everyone's happy in heaven.
Wait, is everyone old in heaven?
Everyone they might not look old, but they're old up here, you know. Standards gone. Yeah. Joe, we've all seen that meme of like David Bowie and Jimi Hendrix, all those lads like, oh, they're jamming in heaven. It would be shit. Not just because their musical styles wouldn't gel. It would be shit because everyone's telling them it's great.
And one of them's David Bowie.
Yeah, exactly. Joe honestly, do you know what ruined David Bowie for me? The music.
Yeah, I have to say.
Yeah. No, so that's what I think is going on.
All right, so you just think they're being mollycoddled in heaven because everyone's very positive.
They're out of practice.
They see a chance to release their music on Earth, and they give it, even though they probably know it's not their best. Deep down, they know it's not their best, and they're giving it to a person who can't even play it very well.
Yeah, that's what they've done. Cool. I know it sounds remarkable, but that's what they've done. Yeah.
I don't know if it sounds remarkable.
Well,
like, you know, discovering X-rays or something, that's remarkable.
Well, Denis, right, Rosemary Brown would sadly pass away in 2001 at the age of 85, having fulfilled... What?
Sorry to interrupt, but that can't be classified as sadly.
What do you mean?
She's not immortal, like.
But she could have had another 10 years. She could have made 2011. Yeah? Would have been less sad, I think, right? Right, she died remarkably having fulfilled the prediction that Liszt told her at the age of 7. That is pretty amazing, whatever you think about the rest of it, right? It remains to be seen.
Wait, no, sorry, but couldn't she... Are you saying it's amazing as if that was, like, chronologically happened like that? And she couldn't have just made it up afterwards?
It did happen like that. That's what she said.
I mean, you're assuming that it happened like that.
No, she told people at the time. I forgot to tell you, actually, her family commonly were held to have supernatural powers. Completely slipped my mind.
See, if you told me that at the start, it would have been a totally different episode.
I meant to keep that in the research. I genuinely, but I forgot it, right? It remains to be seen if Brown herself will ever decide to appear to another willing transcriber, or if indeed, don't joke, or if indeed the composers will ever reappear to somebody else on Earth. However, her works, Denis, are featured in the 2013 album A Musical Seance, and to this day, they remain unexplained.
Very good. Very, very good. No. And if you want to get a hold of that album, just use LITS 2020 discount code at checkout.
Well,
so why did you advertise her album there?
Because I wanted us to listen to it.
No.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Can we listen to like some LITS now, or is that gonna?
Oh, it's
probably good.
We could be in trouble. Yeah. He's very litigious.
Can you hum a bit just to give me an idea?
I think. Do you know what? It's beyond my humming capabilities.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's I think, to be honest, it's funny you say that, because to me I don't care about that at all. About if they sound alike. Because, like, we already know he was experimental. He was changing the whole time. He was a chameleon. Do you know?
I mean, you know what? She picked well.
But she didn't pick.
She got the right ghost.
He picked well.
Yeah. And then she got very big for her boots and she said, you know what? I'll give a crack off Mozart. And then people were like,
You should have stayed your lane. So I thought maybe if you look up on YouTube, if you just look up A Musical Seance,
Okay, I'm gonna look up A Musical Seance now by who is it again?
Well, by Liszt, really. But it will probably say Rosemary Brown.
It'll probably say, because she's the one who released it, and he was dead about 200 years. Okay, very nice album cover, I will say.
Yeah, have you got it?
I just think it's important. I'm watching a video she's actually a video of her here. But this video was uploaded 4 years ago, 9,000 views. Now my musical ear. Piano being played. I mean,
oh, Denis,
really?
While you're listening to that, your audio is cutting out a bit.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so what I was saying there just during that is that it's someone playing piano very, very quickly. A fine piece of music, but certainly no masterpiece. No, there's a guy here. There's a guy here, right? And he's called Jessian Cavalcanti, right? He
commenting
4 years ago. He put down this comment, right? Bagatelle in E flat, moment musical, impromptu in F minor, right? He says these are inspired by Beethoven, Schubert, Chopin, if you know him.
yeah. Love Chopin.
And then 1541, we have Debussy as well as another guy, and Greg.
Oh, good old Greg.
Another guy, and Schumann. So yeah, people are saying it. This person, just to give you an idea of, like, kind of, I suppose, people from your side of the tracks. Mm-hmm. This person here says, outstanding music from a wonderful personality, sincere woman, and one of the greatest mediums of our time.
Yeah.
This person, though, says she was an absolute genius, creating original work based on a famous classical composers. No. Do you think, though, that this was kind of, you know, something like she was maybe like the Mr. Beast of her time? You know what I mean? Like, you know, she's doing like big.
Whoa! This year, well, in this video, I channeled the music of 11 dead composers over 12 SGs. But no, I think, honestly, Denis, I think she was genuine. So I'll say this to you, okay? Before we crack on with the theories. I think whatever she did, she believed what she said.
I have to say that this is an argument that has been seeping into the podcast lately, and I will not stand for it. That's not a good enough reason.
Why not?
Just because you're basically kind of saying in parenthesis, you're saying, like, it's true because they're mental.
No.
That is what you're saying.
Even though that is one of my theories. Right, but
that's your self-help book. It's true because they're mental.
No, I think I just think I told you I thought you'd enjoy today's episode. You thought you'd think it was a cool. I thought this one would have you. I thought from
What part of this did you think would happen?
I thought you'd know who List was.
Here we go.
Well, I'll be honest. With the moment you said who's List, I could feel there was no purchase on the rod as I was reeling it back in.
Could you give that back to me there again? What did I say?
Who's List?
Oh, there it is. Very good. Yeah. Great. What count down from?
The minute that came out of your mouth, I thought, well, hang on. There's no fish on this hook.
All right, so you're now going to present us with some theories.
Yeah, some theories. Light theories today. Light theories.
Yeah, light theories, a light smattering. But I'm just wondering, what can your theories be around this when it's pretty straightforward that you have said that this is, what you think it is that there are ghosts giving her music? Like, well, how can a theory come into this?
Okay, first theory, it's ghosts giving her music.
How did I know that was going to happen?
That's the first theory. It's ghosts.
So now can I just say that your first theories have now changed from "it is true," right, which I obviously picked. I had a massive issue with the last couple of episodes, to now just saying the title pretty much, or the tagline of the episode as the first theory.
So
we've spent a long time discussing that theory. Theory number two.
Theory number two is that she was intentionally lying. To dupe the world and to become famous.
And I think it worked, didn't it?
No, I don't think. Well, she did become famous, but I don't believe that theory.
Yeah. Did you watch? Was there any inkling? Like, did she ever wink when she was saying stuff?
No, she was
people
very
check her hand
sincere.
behind her back?
No, she was very genuine. Even that quote I read you, they said she was very genuine.
Okay. And do you think it would be? Do you think there's really people in the world that could keep up a hoax for that long?
I personally think something would slip.
Yeah.
Something would slip, or you'd go too far. You should accidentally pick a composer who is still alive. Something like that would go wrong.
So you think a hoax would eventually come out and we'd know the truth?
If it was a hoax, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that for every episode we've done.
Okay. I just wonder what people's, like, I think you'd have to be properly I don't know what the appropriate word is, deranged to keep up that.
You'd have to be a psychopath.
Yeah, you probably would.
The next one, Dennis, is that she was mental, so she thought it was she thought it was ghosts, but actually she was just mental.
Which, to be honest, is actually really frightening if you think about it.
Well,
that is actually quite scary.
It is scary. It definitely is. But what you have to say is she made some bloody great music.
Yeah, no, she did. Was it worth it?
Mm-hmm. Well, she had a good life. That's the thing, though, is she didn't live a mental life. She's a totally normal person. So in a way, it's actually quite a good avenue for her mental illness, if she was mental, which I don't think she was.
I'd imagine, though, if she was like imagining all of it, and you're saying she lived a pretty normal life, I'd imagine that the first thing out of her mouth at any time you'd meet her was, I get visited by ghosts. Like, I couldn't see her not talking about that.
I think I get a very different impression of the woman. I get an impression of people would go, Did you know that Rosemary, she transcribes for ghosts? And she goes, oh no, stop it.
Halloween must have been a terrible time for her.
Oh,
she wouldn't know what was happening.
Who do you think would be the worst composer to come visit her? Do you think there's any like really terrible ones that she's like, oh no?
Oh, the lead singer of oh fuck it.
The Mumford and Sons.
No, worse.
Worse.
The Somethings. Come on, get it for me.
The Somethings.
I predict a riot.
Oh, the Kaiser Chiefs.
Yes, the lead singer of the Kaiser Chiefs.
Oh, that would be pretty bad. To be honest,
I think that would be top tier.
The final theory, Dennis, you brought this up in the episode. It was other ghosts masquerading as the actual composers.
Well, I like this as a theory, right? Because I think that if you were in heaven and it was the way they're billing it, it would get quite boring. Yeah, it inevitably would get quite boring. So I think people are just lost for something to do. there's a couple of like teenagers. There's probably not a sitcom, but it's probably like a Stranger Things show about this in heaven, where they come across a portal. It's probably like a rip in time and space or whatever, and they realize, oh crap, we can go into this like wardrobe here and we can talk to this woman. Let's fucking mess with her and give her the worst music ever. Like that would be hilarious. I think we'd do that.
I think the problem with this for me, you poked a hole in this theory yourself. One, you said it. Somebody who'd never even heard of Liszt. You said he's quite distinctive if you see him. And two,
yeah,
the music's quite good. So it doesn't stack up.
But do you think that they can do any sort of like prosthetics or makeup or anything in heaven?
No,
No,
because I think that honestly, when you get to that stage, like all bets would be off up there.
So you think when you go to heaven, like that's the only magical bit about it, and then it's just pure normal again?
I think it's mostly normal.
Yeah,
I think
but it's basically just life again up there. Like.
Yeah, I think it's pretty normal up there.
Yeah, there'll be some land though when you like go to heaven. You're like, wow. And you're like, nah, just like get those expectations down. It's pure normal here.
Like I don't see people going around Johnny Knoxville style cosmetics on. That I don't see.
Yeah, but
happening.
I'm just saying I thought heaven like was anything you could kind of conjure up, you could just get.
No, there are rules like
machine in Star Trek.
It's not just people going off the deep end.
I'd imagine that's probably what it would be.
No, it's like it's I think, do you know what? They have a good time, but they know when to call it.
They know when to stop, and that's why they're in heaven.
That's why they're up there. So what do you think of this week's episode, Dennis?
I like this episode. To be honest, it's that same thing of, like laughing about it now, but actually even being close to this woman and hearing the stories would freak me out something terrible. And do I believe that she was visited by ghosts? I think the most believable thing is she was visited by a group of messers. That's like the strongest theory there.
I'm telling you, I only heard of this last week, and instantly I just believed it instantaneously. I don't have a single doubt about this.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't mean anything.
No, but you know me though. I'm not a ghost guy. But this is spot on.
No, you're not a ghost guy, but we have been doing like religious episodes the last couple of things, so I don't really know what's going on with you lately. So I'm open to believe that you're getting hooked into the ghost just as much as they are.
I just think this has everything. It has, what would you say? It has motive. The ghosts want to compose music. There, we have physical evidence. She saw a picture of him. She recognized him, and we have the actual music afterwards. Like we have the actual physical music. So there's so much evidence here. It's like open shut case.
If you think that it all follows a linear path, which you're just assuming and ignoring that it could have been maybe constructed afterwards.
No.
Okay, good. All right, I think that does it for this week's episode. I have been the ghostly ghoul, Denis Len. You can find me at Denis Len 3D on Instagram. If you want to send us in some messages, please do to our Instagram account or to unexplainedlegends@gmail.com. That ghostly figure over there is
Roger O'Sullivan, and you can find me on Instagram at Roger O'Comedy.
I think the most important thing to tell them this week is the first episode of the extra bonus exclusive content on Patreon has gone out, called the Den Files, where we're discussing, this would actually be last week, we're discussing cosmic sperm that goes missing. Half of the world's known, whatever that phrase is, half of the world's cosmic sperm has gone missing. And also an alien sighting over West Yorkshire. We're going to discuss two very cool things this week in the Den Files. So if that's all we have to say, we're going to head on in there. Join us on Patreon for another half an hour of us behind the scenes, if you like. But other than that...
we love you. Goodbye.